Your life doesn't transform the moment people finally notice you. It transforms the moment you finally decide to notice yourself. For too long, you've given your energy to everything and everyone, except your own growth. You've been showing up for people who wouldn't do the same for you, chasing approval you don't even need, and distracting yourself from the one person who matters most in this story, you. This audiobook is not about hype. It's not about quick motivation that fades tomorrow. It's about serious commitment, the kind of decision that makes you rebuild your life brick by brick, even when nobody claps, even when nobody notices, even when it's hard. Because you only have two choices every day: focus on what's missing, or focus on what you can fix. This audiobook is here to help you focus on you again, to help you stop drifting, stop doubting, and stop treating yourself like an afterthought. We're not talking about a perfect plan. We're not talking about waiting until you feel ready. We're talking about making yourself a priority now. Everything begins here with how you treat you. Because if you don't care about how you treat yourself, you'll accept almost anything from anyone. You'll tolerate people disrespecting you, you'll stay in situations that don't value you, and you'll keep living small, all because you stop treating yourself like you matter. It starts with the smallest choices. When you wake up and hit the snooze button for the third time, what are you telling yourself? You're saying, my time doesn't matter. My goals don't matter. I don't matter enough to move. Those small decisions are shaping your entire identity. Every choice is casting a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. And self-respect? It isn't built from what you say to yourself in the mirror once a week. It's built from what you do every single day. Ask yourself, would I treat a close friend the way I treat myself? If a friend failed, would I criticize them the way I criticize me? If a friend had a dream, would I laugh at it or tear it apart the way I do mine? Probably not. So why do you keep doing it to yourself? You need to build a relationship with yourself that is honest but kind. Because here's the truth. People don't quit chasing their dreams because they're too hard. They quit because they feel too small inside. They feel like they don't deserve more, like they're not enough, like reaching higher is for other people. That stops here. If you want to rebuild yourself, you have to change the way you treat the person in the mirror. You have to keep promises to yourself, even when nobody's watching, even when nobody claps, even when it's uncomfortable. That's where real confidence comes from. Most people are waiting for permission, waiting for applause, waiting for someone to say, you're good enough. You can start now. But that day never comes, not the way you want it to. You have to believe in yourself enough to start showing up for yourself. That belief is what removes the weight of regret, the guilt, the broken promises you've been carrying. Because when you keep your own word, you don't just feel stronger, you become stronger. Treat yourself like a builder treats their project. Would a builder ignore the cracks? Would a builder skip steps? No. A builder shows up every day. They lay one brick after another until it's strong enough to stand on its own. That's how you need to treat your life, your health, your habits, your focus. Think about how you talk to yourself when you fail. Are you encouraging yourself to keep going? Or are you using failure as proof that you're not good enough? Too many people have an internal voice that's been shaped by years of neglect, broken promises, and maybe even trauma. But here's the truth. You can rebuild that voice. You can reprogram it. This isn't about lying to yourself, and it's not about pretending everything is okay. There's a difference between honesty and cruelty. Honesty means taking responsibility and moving forward. Cruelty means tearing yourself apart and staying broken. You don't need to sugarcoat your life, but you also don't need to destroy yourself for every mistake. Instead, tell yourself the truth. Yes, I've been wasting time. Yes, I've been distracted. Yes, I've let myself down. But now I choose differently. I choose to rebuild. This won't happen overnight. You're undoing years of old patterns, years of thinking you don't matter. But every small change builds momentum. Every time you treat yourself better, you shift the direction of your entire life. When you start treating yourself better, everything changes. Your energy shifts. Your tone becomes stronger. Your boundaries get sharper. You stop accepting disrespect. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting and start moving. The way you talk to yourself in private sets the standard for how you live in public. That voice inside your head has more power than you think. If it's always negative, always calling you lazy, behind, or worthless, eventually you'll believe it and live it. So interrupt the cycle, catch yourself in the act. Say, I don't talk to myself that way anymore. I'm improving. I'm working. I'm learning. If you had a child and spoke to them the way you speak to yourself, would they grow up confident? Would they dream big? Probably not. So become the parent to yourself that you wish you had. Become your own coach, encourager, and guide. Start treating your health like it matters. Treat your time like it matters. Treat your choices like they matter, because they do. Every decision you make is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. And when you cast enough votes, your life changes. Not in one big dramatic moment, but piece by piece. This isn't about motivation. Motivation fades. This is about self-respect. When you have self-respect, you don't need someone to chase you to get things done. You move because you've decided your future matters more than your comfort. You're not rebuilding to impress anyone. You're rebuilding because you finally realize you deserve more. You've spent enough time doubting, enough time waiting. Now it's time to act. Pay attention, every day, to your words, your choices, your reactions. The world outside is loud, but your focus has to stay on you. Not selfishly, but honestly. You can't give your best to anyone until you've given your best to yourself. You don't have to rebuild your entire life today, but you do have to start. And it starts here with how you treat yourself every hour, every moment, every thought. Treat yourself like someone worth building, because you are. One of the hardest, most life-changing decisions you'll ever make is to walk away from people who drain you. And I'm not just talking about obvious enemies or people who openly hate you. I'm talking about people who smile in your face but leave you feeling empty. People who show up only when they need something. People who make you feel smaller every time you share your dream, your progress, or even your happiness. If you want to rebuild your life, you have to protect your energy as if your future depends on it, because it does. Most people don't stay stuck because they lack talent or potential. They stay stuck because they're surrounded by the wrong voices. People who doubt them. People who bring unnecessary drama. People who center every conversation around themselves. Even with the strongest mindset, being around the wrong people is like carrying invisible weights. It chips away at your energy little by little until you don't even notice how heavy you've become. You don't owe access to anyone who constantly drains you. You don't owe your time to people who only take. And you definitely don't owe your energy to people who mock your growth or disrespect your boundaries. The guilt that keeps you stuck, here's the truth. Some relationships served their purpose a long time ago. They taught you something, they shaped you, but now they've expired. Yet you're still holding on. Why? Because you feel guilty for wanting peace. So you stay in toxic conversations, tolerate bad treatment, and keep trying to make it work. But what's the cost? Your focus, your clarity, your mental health. The cost of keeping the wrong people is far greater than the discomfort of letting them go. Take a step back and pay attention to how you feel after interacting with someone. Do you feel motivated, seen, respected, or do you feel drained, confused, small? Your body and your emotions already know the truth. But if you ignore those signals long enough, chaos starts to feel normal. It's not. You deserve relationships where you can breathe, not ones where you feel suffocated. Rebuilding yourself requires space to think, to grow, to feel. But you can't grow when you're constantly managing someone else's emotions or shrinking yourself to avoid conflict. You weren't born to exist as someone's emotional punching bag. You weren't born to live life in reaction mode, constantly fixing someone else's mess. You were born to create, to build, to live in your power. Be honest. Who in your life brings tension every time they show up? Who dismisses your goals or belittles your growth? Who makes every situation about themselves, even when you need support? These people aren't necessarily evil, but they're draining, and your loyalty to them should never outweigh your responsibility to yourself. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to cause drama, but you do have to draw a line. Because every moment you spend explaining yourself to someone who refuses to understand you is a moment you could have spent building your future. Stop wasting energy trying to make people believe in you. Stop trying to fit into places you've outgrown. Not everyone will clap for your growth. Some will feel threatened by it. Some will even try to pull you back to who you used to be. That's not your problem. Your only job is to move forward. When you decide to let go of draining people, you might feel guilty. You might feel lonely. You might even question yourself. That's normal. You're breaking patterns that have been with you for years. But eventually, you'll see that peace is worth more than chaos. You'll see that real friends don't drain you. They inspire you. And you'll realize that being alone is better than being surrounded by people who don't care about your growth. Letting go doesn't mean you hate them. Doesn't mean you failed. It means you've grown. It means you've learned to value your energy and your future. When you cut out people who drain you, you feel lighter. Your mind clears up. Your motivation returns. You start hearing your own voice again, the voice that believes in you. That voice is powerful. That voice is what guides you. If someone keeps showing you they don't value your presence, believe them. Don't hold on just because of history. The past is a place to learn, not a place to live. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Where it goes, your life follows. Give it to people who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, who want to see you win. You don't need 100 friends. You don't need everyone's approval. You need a solid circle, a few people who genuinely care. A few people who hold you accountable. A few people who give as much as they take. The rest? Noise, distraction, dead weight. Take an honest look at your connections. Ask yourself, is this person helping me grow or pulling me back? You don't have to explain your decision. You don't have to announce it. Just make the shift. And remember, you are not difficult for protecting your peace. You are not selfish for choosing your well-being. You are not wrong for walking away from what hurts your spirit. That's not weakness. That's maturity. That's strength. You're not rebuilding just to stay the same. You're rebuilding to become stronger, wiser, and calmer. That version of you cannot exist while you're still holding on to what no longer serves you. Start today. Let go. Free yourself. Perfection is the silent killer of progress. It looks beautiful on the outside, but it rots growth from the inside. Why? Because perfection tells you don't move until everything is perfect. Don't start until everything feels right. Don't act until you know you can do it flawlessly. And while you're waiting for perfect, life keeps moving, opportunities pass, and you end up doing nothing. That's why you need to let perfection go. The most powerful shift you can make is this: stop chasing perfection. Start choosing small wins every single day. Perfection demands everything at once. Small wins? They only ask for effort. And effort, not perfection, is what changes your life. When you focus on small wins, you stop waiting for the perfect day. You stop planning endlessly without action. You stop thinking about everything that could go wrong and start doing something that can go right. Progress doesn't come from giant heroic leaps. It comes from consistent, small steps that stack over time. The people who grow are not always the smartest or most talented. They're the ones who work out even when it's only 10 minutes. Read 5 pages instead of waiting for an hour of free time. Make one uncomfortable phone call instead of postponing every decision. These small wins may look insignificant, but they build momentum. And momentum is life-changing. When you chase perfection, you create unrealistic pressure. You think, if I can't do it perfectly, why bother? That thinking paralyzes you. It stops you before you even start. But when you allow yourself to win small, everything changes. The pressure lowers. The action increases. You stop saying, I have to do it all today. You start saying, I'll do something today. And something beats nothing every single time. Here's the science. Every time you complete a small task, your brain releases dopamine, a chemical linked to motivation and satisfaction. This tiny success tells your brain, I'm capable. I can trust myself. I follow through. And every time you repeat that cycle, you become stronger and more consistent. When you aim for perfection and miss, which is almost inevitable, you feel like a failure. You think you're behind. You start losing belief in yourself. That's how people spiral into giving up. They don't quit because they're lazy. They quit because perfection made them feel like nothing they do is enough. Success is never a straight leap to the top. It's a staircase. You take one step, then another. That's how skills are built, how habits are formed, how momentum is created. When you look at someone who's successful, all you see is the top of their staircase. You don't see the hundreds of steps it took to get there, the late nights, early mornings, small sacrifices. Stop comparing your step 1 to someone else's step 100. You have to give yourself permission to build slow, make mistakes, grow at your own pace. The only requirement is forward motion. That's it. Even if it's small, even if nobody notices, even if you're the only one clapping. Most people believe they need motivation first to act. But the truth? Action creates motivation. You don't feel like working out until you start working out. You don't feel like writing until you start typing. Motivation isn't the spark. It's the result. Small wins keep you moving, and movement keeps you motivated. Every time you finish something, even something small, you build trust in yourself. That trust grows into confidence. When you chase perfection, you procrastinate. When you chase small wins, you execute. And execution, not big declarations, is where transformation begins. You will slip. You will fall short. You will have bad days. That's normal. That's human. The key is this: don't let one mistake erase your progress. When you fall, don't go back to the start. Stand where you are and keep moving forward. That mindset alone puts you ahead of most people. Stop asking, "How can I be perfect today?" Start asking, "What small win can I choose today?" Maybe it's cleaning one corner of your room, writing for 10 minutes, saying no to one distraction, drinking water instead of soda. These small actions look tiny, but they create rhythm. And rhythm creates consistency. Every small win says something powerful about you. I'm disciplined. I finish what I start. I take responsibility for my life. That identity is far more powerful than any temporary motivation. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to choose one action today that your future self will thank you for. That's how you build a life you're proud of, not by chasing perfection, but by winning small and winning often. One of the most powerful life skills you can develop is the ability to say no, and mean it. Not a weak, hesitant, maybe later. Not a soft no that sounds like a yes waiting to happen. Clear, firm no. It might sound simple, but saying no is one of the hardest things for most people. Why? Because we don't want to disappoint others. Because we fear rejection. Because we've been conditioned to think that putting ourselves first is selfish. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something you don't want, you say no to something you actually need. Your goals. Your peace. Your focus. Your future. Many people live exhausted, overwhelmed lives because they're trapped in yes mode. They say yes to events they don't want to attend. They say yes to tasks that drain them. They say yes to people who only show up when they need something. And at the end of the day, they're left with no energy for their own priorities. When you constantly put everyone else first, you slowly abandon yourself. And that leads to burnout, resentment, and even worse. You stop trusting yourself to protect your own boundaries. Rebuilding your life isn't just about adding new habits. It's about removing the ones that keep you stuck and saying yes when you really want to say no. That's one of the biggest traps. Start asking yourself, am I saying yes because I truly want to, or because I'm scared of how they'll react if I say no? That one question will reveal how often your life decisions are based on guilt and pressure instead of clarity and purpose. You've been taught to believe that saying no makes you mean or selfish. That's not true. No is a boundary. No is clarity. No is protection for your energy and mental health. If someone walks away because you said no, they weren't really with you. They were with the version of you who always said yes, who always adjusted, who always sacrificed. That version is tired now. People will test your no. They'll question it, push against it, try to make you feel guilty. That's where your strength is tested. Don't over-explain. Don't apologize. You don't owe anyone a long story. No, I'm not available. That's enough. You are allowed to choose your mental health over someone else's expectations. When you say yes to everything, people will walk all over your time and your priorities. And they'll keep doing it because you're allowing it. But the moment you start saying no clearly and firmly, everything changes. You show people how to treat you. You teach yourself to protect what matters. At first, saying no feels uncomfortable. You might feel guilty for putting yourself first. That's normal. But here's the secret. Feeling guilty for choosing yourself is something you have to unlearn. Your worth is not tied to how much you sacrifice for everyone else. Saying no keeps you focused on what actually matters. It prevents you from being pulled into unnecessary distractions that take you away from your core priorities. Distraction doesn't always look chowdy. See, sometimes it looks like a friend asking to hang out when you plan to work, a request to help with something that doesn't align with your goals. Every time you say no to what doesn't matter, you're saying yes to what does. Start small. Decline one invitation you don't want. Say no to one habit that wastes your time. Refuse one request that doesn't serve your future. The relief you feel after saying no will show you just how powerful it is. Too many people are stuck in a cycle of overcommitting. They think they need to solve everyone's problems, help everyone, and be available 24/7. But you're one person with one life and one energy tank. When you run yourself into the ground, who benefits? Nobody. Honoring your limits is not weakness. It's wisdom. When you say no to what doesn't matter, you create space for what does. Space to rest. Space to think. Space to work on what truly moves your life forward. And when you build a life based on clarity instead of obligation, you stop living on other people's timelines and start living on your own terms. Saying no doesn't mean being cold or rude. It means being honest and intentional. Sometimes no means, not right now. I need time to think. I have other priorities right now. The key is this: you are choosing to respond, not react. You're building a life based on intention instead of pressure. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align, you're saying yes to something that does: your health, your dreams, your clarity. You weren't born to be available for everything and everyone. You were born to live with purpose and direction. Practice saying no with confidence, without guilt, without over-explaining, without second-guessing yourself. Because every no you say to what doesn't matter is really a yes to the life you're trying to build. The world moves fast. It pulls you in every direction, demanding more of your time, energy, and attention every day. But here's the thing: if you never slow down, you never hear yourself. And if you can't hear yourself, you can't rebuild yourself. Inside you, there's a quiet voice. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It speaks calmly, softly, and honestly. It's the voice that tells you, you need to rest. This isn't right for you. You're better than this. But most people never hear it because they're too busy listening to the noise outside. They follow trends, chase approval, and live on autopilot. That's why so many feel lost. Not because they don't have answers, but because they've forgotten how to listen. There's a big difference between being busy and being productive. Busy means your schedule is full. Productive means your actions align with your values. And you can't figure out what truly matters if you never pause long enough to ask, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Does this actually matter to me? Without those questions, you're just moving fast, in the wrong direction. Stopping feels strange when you're used to rushing. Feels like falling behind. But slowing down isn't falling behind. It's stepping into alignment. It's choosing clarity over chaos. When you pause, you notice which habits are draining you, which relationships don't feel right anymore, which goals were never yours to begin with. That kind of awareness is uncomfortable, but it's also where growth begins. Most people avoid silence because silence reveals truth. It reveals the habits you've ignored. It reveals the emotions you've buried. It reveals the dreams you abandoned because they scared you. But ignoring truth doesn't make it disappear. It just makes you numb. And numbness is not peace. It's disconnection. Rebuilding your life starts with connection. connection to yourself. Your inner voice doesn't scream. It waits for you to be still enough to hear it. It speaks when you're alone, when you put the phone down, when you're quiet enough to feel your own emotions instead of running from them. At first, it's uncomfortable. Your thoughts will race. You'll want to distract yourself, grab your phone, scroll, call someone. That's because you've been avoiding yourself. But if you keep practicing, you'll find something powerful on the other side. Calm. When you finally hear your inner voice, you stop forcing things that don't fit. You stop saying yes when you mean no. You stop chasing things that drain you. You start moving based on clarity, not pressure, not fear, not what other people expect of you. The world teaches you to move faster, work harder, grind more. But your inner voice teaches you balance. Tells you when it's time to stop, breathe, and choose differently. It leads you toward peace, purpose, and alignment. That voice already knows what's right for you. You just have to create space to hear it. People confuse solitude with loneliness. Loneliness is feeling disconnected. Solitude is choosing connection with yourself. When you learn to sit alone and feel okay, everything changes. You stop begging for validation. You stop chasing relationships out of fear. You stop running from the parts of yourself that need healing. Alone time becomes a place of strength instead of fear. Every major life change starts with self-awareness. And self-awareness starts with quiet moments. When you stop performing, stop pretending, and stop distracting yourself. You don't need more noise. You don't need more opinions. You need silence. You need space. Create moments of stillness every day. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just you and your thoughts. At first, it will feel restless. But over time, you'll hear that inner voice again, the one that already knows what you need, what you've ignored, and what you're meant to build next. That voice isn't confused. It's not scared. It knows. You just need to slow down and listen. If there's something holding you back right now, it's probably not some mystery. It's not some hidden force. It's something you've been avoiding. We don't fail because we don't know what to do. We fail because we avoid doing what we already know we need to do. That conversation you keep pushing aside. That habit you promise to quit but still entertain. That decision you know you need to make but keep postponing. Avoidance feels safe in the moment, but it's expensive. Steals your energy because you're constantly thinking about what you're not doing. Kills your confidence because deep down you know you're lying to yourself. Creates mental clutter that weighs you down. Every day you avoid something, you carry its weight with you. And that weight keeps you from building the life you want. That task you keep avoiding, it doesn't disappear. It waits. It shows up in your anxiety, your stress, and even your self-talk. You feel it every time you say to yourself, I should have done that already. Avoidance is a slow leak in your life. You don't see the damage right away, but over time, it drains your momentum. Taking responsibility is simple but powerful. It means saying, this is my life. No one else is coming to fix it. It's on me. That mindset doesn't feel good at first. It feels heavy, but it's also freeing. Because the moment you accept that it's on you, you stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. There is no perfect time. There is no magical day when everything lines up and taking responsibility feels easy. You have to do it when it's uncomfortable, when it's messy, when it scares you. Growth doesn't happen on someday. Growth happens when you say, enough. I'm handling this now. Look at the areas of your life that frustrate you. Your health, your finances, your relationships, your discipline. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding here? There's always something. Maybe it's starting a difficult conversation. Maybe it's finally making a budget. Maybe it's committing to a routine you've put off. Whatever it is, stop running from it. Avoiding feels good in the moment because you get to escape discomfort. But the cost is high. It steals your confidence and creates guilt that lingers. That guilt is why so many people feel stuck. Not because they lack potential, but because they're carrying the weight of what they keep avoiding. Here's the secret. You don't have to fix everything today. You just need to take one step, make one phone call, clean one space, write one plan, face one habit head-on. That one action gives you momentum, and momentum changes how you feel about yourself. Every time you take action on something you avoided, you rebuild trust in yourself. You prove to your own mind, I can count on me. That's where confidence comes from, not from hype, not from motivation, but from self-trust built through action. Stop saying, I'm too tired. You're undisciplined, not broken. I don't have time. You haven't made time, which means it's not a priority. It's too hard. What you mean is you're scared to fail. These excuses feel safe but keep you stuck. When you take ownership, everything shifts. When you stop avoiding and start acting, even on a small scale, your identity changes. You're no longer the person who quits or the person who hides. You become the person who handles things. That identity is powerful. It bleeds into everything. How you show up for work, how you treat people, how you think about your future. Whatever you've been putting off, handle it first. That's how you break the pattern of avoidance. You take the thing you least want to do and move toward it instead of away from it. Because every day you delay, you tell yourself, I'm not ready. I'm not capable. I can't handle this. But the truth is, you can handle it, you just need to start. You will never feel ready. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need someone to push you. You just need to be honest and take one step. Courage comes before confidence. And when you keep taking courageous steps, confidence follows naturally. What's one thing you've been avoiding? Don't wait another day. Don't wait for the mood to strike. Handle it now. Because the moment you stop avoiding, you stop feeling powerless. You start feeling in control. And that feeling will carry you through every challenge ahead. Take a hard, unfiltered look at your life. The real one, not the version you post online or the one you tell people about. The life you wake up to every morning. The life you carry with you when no one is watching. The truth is this: most people are building a life they never intended to live. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because they've been running on autopilot, living out habits they didn't consciously choose, chasing goals that aren't even theirs, and following routines they don't actually enjoy. You say you want peace, but you keep choosing chaos. You say you want discipline, but you keep choosing comfort. You say you want growth, but you keep avoiding challenges. That gap between what you say you want and what you actually do. That's why life feels stuck. We avoid honesty because it's uncomfortable. It forces us to face the compromises we've made, the routines we've abandoned, the boundaries we stopped protecting, the habits that have quietly become our normal. But you can't build a strong future on top of denial. You can't improve what you pretend is fine. You can't change a life you keep lying about. Being honest with yourself isn't about tearing yourself down. It's about awareness. And awareness is the beginning of power. When you finally stop running from the truth and admit, this is where I am. This is where I've fallen short. This is what I need to do differently. You take back control. Whether you realize it or not, you're building something daily. Every decision is a brick. Every habit is a tool. Every yes and no is shaping your future. The question is, what exactly are you building? Is it aligned with your values? Is it taking you toward your dreams or away from them? Is it based on your vision or someone else's expectations? Many people say, I'll fix it later. I'll start when things calm down. But later never comes. Later is the reason people wake up one day and wonder how they ended up with a life they don't even want. You don't need later. You need honesty now. When you look at your life honestly, you might see things you don't like, a job you hate but tolerate, a relationship that drains you, a routine that doesn't reflect who you want to become. The easy thing to do is distract yourself. Scroll, drink, stay busy so you don't have to think. But here's the truth. Distractions won't fix what honesty can. We tell ourselves excuses. I'm tired. I don't have time. It's too hard. But most of the time, that's not true. The truth is, you're undisciplined, not broken. You have time, you're just not using it wisely. You're not weak, you're just scared to fail. When you admit that, you stop treating excuses as facts and start finding solutions. Honesty isn't just about seeing what's wrong. It's also about acknowledging what's right, the progress you've made, the habits you've built, the storms you've already survived. You're not just your mistakes, you're also your growth. Own that too. Misalignment shows up as constant fatigue even when you rest, feeling busy but not fulfilled, moving but going nowhere. That's not burnout, it's living out of alignment. Right now, ask, is the way I'm living today taking me closer to or further from the person I want to be? The answer might sting, but that's okay. Pain is often clarity in disguise. When you stop pretending, you stop wasting energy trying to look like you have it all together. You stop hiding behind busyness and actually start making progress. Honesty gives you power because it reveals where you need to act. Take one area of your life and get brutally honest about it. Your health, your relationships, your finances, your habits. Write down the truth without excuses. Then ask, what one step can I take today to make it better? You don't need to fix everything in one day. You just need to stop lying to yourself and start building with intention. Because the life you're building right now is either one you'll be proud of or one you'll want to escape from. And that choice starts with honesty. Most people don't know how to be alone. Not because they hate silence, but because when things get quiet, everything they've been avoiding shows up. The thoughts they buried, the emotions they pushed down, the truth they've been running from. That's why they stay busy. That's why they surround themselves with constant noise, endless scrolling, and people who distract them. Because silence feels heavy. But here's the truth. The silence isn't the problem. What you believe about yourself when you're alone is. Being alone can feel like falling apart when you don't like the person you're alone with. If every quiet moment triggers thoughts like, I'm not enough, I'm behind in life, something is wrong with me, then, of course, silence feels painful. But rebuilding yourself means learning to be with yourself, fully, honestly, without needing someone else to fill that space. When you learn to sit alone and be okay, you take back control of your life. No one can control you with attention. No one can shake you by leaving. No one can make you feel incomplete just because they're not around. Your confidence stops depending on someone else's presence and starts coming from within. People confuse being alone with being unloved, forgotten, or broken. That's not true. Alone just means present. Alone means you're available to hear your own voice instead of everyone else's. If being alone feels like breaking, that's not loneliness. It's unprocessed pain. It's all the things you've avoided finally coming to the surface. And that's exactly where your healing begins. If you always need noise, always need people, always need something to distract you, you'll never know who you really are. You'll constantly depend on outside validation to feel okay. But the truth is, you don't heal in distraction. You heal in connection with yourself. When you sit alone, you discover what actually matters to you, not what other people told you to care about. Which habits and relationships are helping or hurting you. Which emotions you need to release instead of bury. This self-awareness is uncomfortable at first, but it's where real change begins. Loneliness is a feeling of being disconnected. Solitude is the practice of being deeply connected to yourself. When you embrace solitude, you stop begging for time and attention. You stop chasing people just to avoid silence. You start making choices based on your values, not your fears. If you can't sit alone without feeling broken, you will always settle in relationships. You'll tolerate disrespect, accept half-effort, and cling to people who don't treat you well, because being with someone feels safer than being with yourself. But when you make peace with being alone, your standards rise. Your confidence grows. Your decisions become stronger. If silence feels painful, don't run from it. Sit with it. Ask yourself, what am I running from? What am I afraid to feel? What truth have I been avoiding? Those answers will be uncomfortable. But they're the key to healing. You don't have to spend hours meditating in silence right away. Start with a few minutes. No phone. No music. Just you. Yes, it might feel restless at first. You'll want to escape. But over time, that restlessness will fade. And in its place will come clarity, calm, and strength. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you stop chasing attention for validation. You stop fearing rejection. You stop panicking when people leave. You become whole, grounded, and focused. And that version of you is unshakable. Spend time with yourself today without distractions. Feel whatever comes up. Don't run from it. Listen to what your silence is trying to tell you. Because when you make peace with yourself in solitude, you stop being afraid of life's quiet moments. You stop being afraid of starting over. You stop being afraid of you. And that's when you finally understand. Being alone was never the enemy. It was the path back to your real self. The fastest way to lose trust in yourself isn't failing once or twice. It's breaking the promises you make to yourself every single day. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly. You say you'll wake up early, but you don't. You say you'll work on your goal, but you scroll instead. You say you'll start eating better, but you keep making excuses. Every broken promise tells your mind, what I say doesn't matter. My word isn't strong. And when you stop believing your own words, you stop trying. You stop dreaming bigger. You start settling for less because deep down, you've convinced yourself you can't trust you. When you don't trust yourself, you feel it everywhere. In your anxiety when you plan but don't follow through. In your frustration when you see others move forward while you stay stuck. In that quiet voice that says, you could be more, but you keep letting yourself down. This isn't about discipline for the sake of achievement. It's about your self-respect. Keeping promises to yourself is how you build self-respect. If you say you'll read 5 pages, read them. If you say you'll drink more water, do it. If you say you'll take 1 step toward your goal, take it even if no one notices. Because every time you follow through, you send your mind a powerful message, I can count on me. Think about it. You'd never flake on a meeting with your boss or skip out on helping a friend you promise. To help. You'd feel guilty letting someone else down. But when it comes to yourself, you break promises like they don't matter. You justify it with, it's okay. No one saw it. I'll do it tomorrow. But your mind saw it. Your self-respect felt it. If you break promises long enough, you start to believe, I'm lazy. I can't finish things. I'm not disciplined enough. And when you believe that identity, you live it out. Quitting faster, doubting yourself more, and never seeing what you're truly capable of. The good news? You can rebuild self-trust the same way it was lost. One day, one decision, one promise at a time. Start small, wake up when you said you would. Do one thing on your list and finish it. Keep one commitment, no matter how small, every day. That's how trust grows, not with big declarations but with quiet consistency. When you keep promises to yourself, your confidence grows. Your focus sharpens. Your stress goes down because you stop wondering if you'll quit halfway. And when your mind knows your word is strong, it stops doubting every idea, every goal, every plan. It knows, if I say it, I'll do it. You know the pattern. Alarm goes off, just 5 more minutes, workout time. I'll start tomorrow, big task. I'm too tired right now. Every time you negotiate, you make it easier to quit next time. Instead, adopt this mindset. If I said I would, I will. There will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when you're tired, frustrated, or overwhelmed. That's when your promise to yourself matters most. Because motivation won't always be there, but integrity can be. You will miss sometimes. You will fall short. That's not failure, it's feedback. The key is to recommit immediately, not next week, not next month, the same day. Pick one promise you'll make to yourself today, just one. Keep it. Do it no matter what. Drink the water. Make the call. Spend 10 minutes on your goal. Then do it again tomorrow. And the next day. Because the more you keep promises to yourself, the more you trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you stop waiting for confidence. You live with it. Every single day. What you do when no one is watching defines who you really are. It's easy to show up when there's applause, when people are checking in, when there's recognition waiting for you at the end. But greatness? Greatness is built in silence. In the early mornings when nobody else is awake. In the late nights when nobody cares how hard you're working. In the quiet hours when nobody sees your effort, your discipline, or your sacrifice. If you only work hard when people are watching, you're not doing it for growth, you're doing it for approval. And approval fades fast. One day people cheer for you, the next day they forget. But integrity is what you do when nobody's looking. That's where your real strength lives. Every skill you develop, every habit you form, every standard you hold yourself to when nobody's watching, that's the foundation of your life. That early workout nobody claps for. That hour of reading nobody knows about. That extra effort you put in after everyone else goes home. Those invisible choices shape who you become. The people you admire didn't get there because of one big public moment. They got there because of thousands of private moments when they gave their all without an audience. When your effort isn't dependent on applause, you become unstoppable. You don't need external motivation because your drive comes from within. Most people quit not because they lack potential, but because they expect instant recognition. They want results now, attention now, validation now. And when it doesn't come, they stop. But the truth is this. What you do when nobody is watching determines how ready you are when your moment finally comes. The quiet days matter. The small, boring, repetitive actions matter. Because every unnoticed effort is a deposit into your future. One day, those deposits turn into results so undeniable that people call you an overnight success. But you'll know the truth, you built it in silence. When you work for approval, you'll always need more of it. You'll chase likes, compliments, and validation, and it will never feel like enough. But when you work for growth, for your own self-respect, you already have enough. The reward is in knowing you gave everything you had, even when nobody noticed. Give your best when no one asks you to. Do the hard thing even when no one will know you did it. Push yourself when it would be easier to quit because these moments shape your character far more than public praise ever could. That one extra rep at the gym. That one extra page read. That 1 hour spent learning instead of scrolling. Nobody sees it today, but it all shows up later. When the opportunity comes, you won't need to get ready because you already stayed ready. Don't hold back just because no one's watching. Your life isn't about performing for others. It's about proving to yourself that you can rely on your own effort, your own discipline, your own standard of excellence. Because when you give your all in private, you build an identity that can't be shaken in public. Today, give your best effort to something, even if no one notices, even if no one cares, even if nobody will thank you for it. Study harder than you need to. Push yourself in your workout. Work on your goal quietly and consistently. Do it because it matters to you. Do it because your life deserves your full effort. Do it because one day when success arrives, you'll know you earned it. Not for applause, but because you gave your all every step, every day, even when nobody was watching.